What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Fit Over 40 with Coach Clarence. And I want to keep it short and sweet today. Just let you know about the market. And I'm keeping it short and sweet because we have some great guests coming on the podcast, and you'll hear me interview them. You'll hear me ask them interesting questions. And I really am focusing on bringing people on that can affect your life and any of those areas in the three pillars that I talk about all the time: fitness, finance, and mindset. So I'm going to cut out fitness and mindset for today and focus on finances. Here's something I wonder if you guys ever thought about. And this is just reality and data. There's no shade behind it. The average white American has a credit score of 720. The average non-white has an average credit score of 580. Now, I'm saying average, I mean there's some. That's going to be a range between super low credit to super high. That's why I'm saying average, okay? Don't get all in a hissy fit. What does that mean? Somewhere down the line, there is a divide. Somewhere down the road, while people grew up, they're missed out on education. They didn't know things. And it caused them not to be informed, make decisions. I can tell you that where I grew up and how I was raised, we weren't being taught financial education. Matter of fact, a lot of people in the Black community are not taught financial education until later on in life, when they need something that requires credit or they get taken advantage of and they realize that, hey, I got to get my credit together, and they start reaching out. So I'm trying to get ahead of the curve, and not just for Black people, people in general. I'm trying to get people to focus on their credit, because you spend so much in interest and you pay so much more for products and goods when you have bad credit. And there are so many myths and misunderstandings about credit, how to restore it, how to get it better, what things to look out for. There are tons of errors on most people's credit reports, and that's why I do what I do. It also helps with my mortgage business because it helps me clean people's credit up so that they can get into a home with better finances, better prices, okay? There's something really interesting that you'll find in any area where the average credit score is a 500. You're going to find payday loans. You're going to find a check cash in place. You're going to have liquor store. You're going to have dispensaries, all things to mask the pain to get through. And then there'll be religious places in those areas where you can just pray, and hope for a miracle. Although this isn't a religious show, but you should be smart enough to know that God has given you the wisdom, no matter what God you follow, to get out of those situations. And relying on the government is not a smart move. I don't think you should rely on the government. It's not going to help you. The government, their big interests are the people who fund their campaigns, and that's really the direction they go in. So keep that in mind. So let's talk a little bit about the market, because we're seeing a shift, okay? And it almost feels like it's happening in slow motion. If you haven't been paying attention, mortgage rates hit a 14-month low after weak employment reports, and that left the door open for a big rate cut in September. There's been some cooling inflation around 3%, depending on what poll you listen to or where you get your news from, but that's a good average. And rising unemployment is around 4.3, meaning that our economy is slowing down, and some say we're inching towards a recession. Hearing that talk again. There are still two inflation reports and another employment report before the Fed's September meeting, okay? And if that data is similar to what we're seeing now, a cooling economy, it's likely the Fed will start cutting interest rate. The good news is the market is already pricing in that rate cut, which is why we saw mortgage rates drop a little bit. And this is important because if you're sitting on the fence and you haven't done the steps to get pre-qualified, to know what's on your credit, to know what you can buy, you're going to get caught up in that. And the person who's prepared, who's got their pre-qualification, they know what they can buy, they know what issues they may have, they're going to beat you out every time. So again, as you hear me preach all the time, get a pre-qual, know where you stand, all that good stuff. Check your credit. We're coming towards the latter part of the year. You need to have an annual credit report, an annual mortgage report, an annual credit report, to make sure there's no surprises on your credit report. Now, there are a lot of new listings are up. along with some of these price cuts. Inventory is also shifting according to the July housing report in Realtor.com. Actual inventory is up 36% compared to last year. 18.9% of listings had price cut, and this has been the highest since October 2023. And homes are taking a little longer to sell. The median number of days is around 50. So things are moving in some parts of the world or the country, and other places it's booming. It just depends, where we are. There's also something I thought was interesting is that over the last year, inventory in Illinois is up 8%, while Florida has seen a 71% increase since 2023. That's a lot. I mean, it's the biggest state jump in the country and well above the 37% increase the U.S. saw overall. So again, where you are, different factors, how's the economy, different things are playing into these numbers that I'm talking about. And guess what? 4 states have returned to pre-pandemic inventory levels this summer, such as Florida, Texas, Idaho, and Tennessee. So overall, I think this is good news for the real estate market. And for us mortgage people, that's good news. Rates are cooling. Homes are still sitting on the market longer, making the home buying market move in a more buyer-friendly direction, okay? So if I had to dig into my little crystal ball here and to tell you what I think is going to happen, I think rates dip way below 6% by January. And I expect to see much more buyer demand and more sales this fall. That's what I think. And that's good news for everybody. So I'm saying all this to say, get prepared, be ready. There's a lot of programs out there to get you in. I'm doing a lot of non-QM loans, which means non-qualified mortgage, bank statement, DSCR, all these different programs that help you get into a house easier. Refinance, HELOCs, different things are happening, and it all helps you, the buyer, you, the seller. Real estate agents, it is super important if you're really thinking strategy, because we know what's happening with NAR. And all that means is you have to show people what your worth is. You have to show people that you're good and they should use you. That's all it means. And what you should be doing anyway, you should be discussing things. But the reason I say this as a lender is what we want to do is help you craft better offers. And we have software and cool IT stuff to help you do that. So you can walk in the door and ask the seller, what's important to you about this house being sold? And what are you trying to walk away with? And I'm working with my lender to give you this best experience. Let me give you an example of an email I sent to one of my realtor partners, just as an example, so they could see why it's important to have a strategy when you're dealing with a lender as a lender partner. So it's super important. I think that you always are communicating with your seller, negotiating in good faith. These are all the things that we should be doing anyway, but a lot of agents are just thinking about getting the deal. A lot of people are just thinking short term. And what we find is when people think short term like that, they're not thinking in the best interest of all parties involved. And you'll find that you'll do more better, you'll do more business, you will get more referrals by doing things that will help all parties involved. And that's kind of where I kick in. And the same to you, if you're listening and you haven't bought a home yet, this is how I approach the financing when I'm getting your house done. I'm going to look at what your financial goal is, look at where you want to be in a few years, and then I'm going to craft an offer to you that makes sense. So when we go to your realtor, you're going to be well prepared and the deal will go through. So just as an example, just a sample that I emailed a realtor partner of mine. So we'll just use fake names. Hey, Tina, everything I've heard about the NAR stuff is really you explaining why you are worth the cost. Instead, I challenge you to think of it as, how am I going to save you the most money? Mr. Customer, my commitment to you is to save you the most money by possibly negotiating as much of the costs associated with buying a home. This includes things like the sales price, title policy, repairs, home warranty, and my competition my compensation, which is X, Y, and Z. You can show them a saving sheet where you show them a list price, how to ask for concessions, what things to ask for. So you're showing value and you are approaching it from a value add versus just, I'm a realtor and that's why you should pay me. No, you have to add value so that you can make money and be successful in this industry. You know, you're not going to be successful if you don't know how to negotiate a contract. I'm watching realtors freak out about the NAR thing. They're falling out of the business. And it's silly. It's just like show value and you will have clients. But if you don't have a value proposition, you don't know why someone can use you, you're going to get beat every time. So for all my realtors who are listening out there, or you're thinking about working with Team Ferguson, let me just tell you a little bit about how we do things. So you know, number one, we are more than just a lender. We're true financial strategists as well as being a lender. We qualify every financial decision your client has to make. And this is a value statement that I have on my screen. Building confidence so they buy and sell. Things like, should I sell? We answer. Should we wait till the rates come down? Should we save up to 20%? These are questions we get. Knowing the cost or the opportunity cost is key in making informed decisions, freeing up time for you to go work and get with clients. So this is kind of a value statement that I have, that I talk to realtors about. That's my value proposition. I'm doing a lot of the legwork. I'm getting the buyer so prepared that when they come to you, their deals get offers, get accepted. It's been a long time since I've had an offer that we helped put together from the financing part with the realtor that was turned down. And it's because realtors know that to go in with the best option, they want to ask all the questions. Is this property good for a certain type of loan? Will this make more sense if I ask for this? All these things are questions that come up when we're negotiating. So not to belabor the point, but just to give you some ideas. And I know I'm dragging on. I said I was going to keep it short. I want to leave you all with something that's more along in the mindset shift, because it was really cool. It's something I heard. A lot of times I hear things, I take them, I write them down, I implement it in my life if I like it. If someone says something good, I try to see if it fits in the overall flow of my business and what I need to do. But I heard something that I want to share with you guys. It is, you're not a failure. You just had an experiment that didn't end well. You're not a mistake. You might have made a mistake. We're all angels with dirty faces. A saint is a sinner that got up. So let's not focus on so-called failures, because you're not a failure. You just had an experiment that did not end well. Remember, success has 100 mothers, but failure is a bastard child. No one's going to remember your failure, so don't worry about it. They will celebrate you. They will salute you. They will apply, or they will be jealous of your successes. But success is the greatest revenge, and haters make you better. So don't focus on what other people say. Stay focused, stay on your grind, and I'll see you all next week. Have a good one. Remember, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you get videos when they come out. Email info at Coach Clarence about topics you want to discuss, or if you have a different take on any of this stuff, open for that as well. And if you were just listening to the podcast, please hit that review and give me 5 stars, or share it with someone you think might be useful. I'll see you guys next time.